Ready? Okay. It is 5:38, I believe. No, 5:33.
33. It's my computer.
Oh, my word, 5:33. I'm calling this regular meeting of the Town Council Administration Committee to order. Present are myself, Councilor McGrath, and Councilor Irwin. I see Councilor Soames and Councilor Rodriguez. I see Gay Sun, and I see Sherry Fernandez. I don't see anybody. Oh, online?
No one's on.
Okay, perfect. All right, I apologize to everybody. I left my laptop home. I left my phone home. I was just on the phone with a friend whose mother is passing, and I was trying to listen to her and watching the clock and ended up walking out the door with an empty laptop case, which is so helpful. All righty. So next item on the agenda is citizens' comments. I presume that you ladies would like to speak, or one of you?
Yes, I would.
Okay, 3 minutes, please.
Yep.
And I do ask that comments be civil.
Last month, I received a notice about a special administrative committee meeting. On the agenda was listed discussion regarding Kings Corner Manor tenant letters concerning the Housing Authority Board. Seeing as I had filed a written complaint against a board member, I attended this meeting. I was then completely blindsided when there was no discussion whatsoever, but rather was informed by Ms. Ingalls that she had spoken to Charlie Doozy, board president, and person whom I lodged a complaint against, Colleen Lauer, executive director of the facility where I live, where the incident occurred, and who worked closely with the board, and Mary McGrath, board liaison. And she found no evidence of verbal abuse or reason to dismiss Mr. Doozy from his position on the board. At no time did anyone bother to speak to me about this incident or to any of the other residents who were present when this incident occurred. Even in a court of law, both parties are allowed to present their evidence and witnesses. I was not given this opportunity, and therefore I found that your investigation was blatantly prejudicial and sorely lacking in ethics. Furthermore, I venture to guess that no one bothered to view the video from May of 2021 when I first brought this matter to the attention of the town council, and which, by the way, I mentioned in my written complaint. If you had viewed this video, you would have heard me clearly state that Charlie Doozy was yelling loudly, told me to shut up, told me I had no rights, told me I was beginning to piss him off, and told me if I didn't like it, I could leave and he would help me pack. This behavior continued at the next 2 consecutive board meetings. Still, you found no evidence of verbal abuse. Ms. Ingalls did, however, freely admit that the 3 individuals she spoke with all admitted that Mr. Doozy had raised his voice. Whereas raising one's voice is considered unprofessional, it also falls under the heading of misconduct. So by your own admission, Charlie Doozy is guilty of misconduct. As the saying goes, there are 2 sides to every story, and the truth can never be gleaned by listening to only one side. There was no search for the truth in this matter, and I am appalled at the lack of regard and respect I was shown by this committee. And in my opinion, you should all be ashamed of yourselves. Finally, I leave you with this question. Why is it that whenever people enter into the political or governing arena, they seem to lose all sense of values, morals, principles?
Okay, I'm going to stop you
fairness,
there.
honesty, and respect for the people they
Your
serve?
3 minutes are up, and because you've moved into accusing character, I'm going to stop you. I ask that your
choose
comments be
character. I
kept
asked the
civil.
question.
So I'm going to I don't normally address, but I am going to address a couple of things. First of all, when a discussion item is listed on an agenda, it doesn't mean it's a public discussion back and forth between residents and attendees of the committee. It's a discussion among the appointed members of that committee. So the discussion was really among Councilor McGrath, Councilor Irwin, and I. The courtesy is often extended to other elected councilors, but just to clear up any confusion about what it means that there was a discussion, it didn't mean a back and forth, and there will not be a back and forth. I stand by the conversations I had. I trust Councilor McGrattan's. She has been in attendance for all of those meetings. Those very meetings that you referenced, I trust her judgment. And I see no reason to dismiss Charlie Doozy. Further, if raising one's voice is grounds for dismissal, for goodness sakes, there will be nobody serving anywhere ever. We'll all blow it very quickly. So,
didn't say it was grounds for dismissal, I said misconduct.
which would be grounds for dismissal. That's what you're going for, right?
No.
So,
that's
okay.
not what I'm
So
on.
that's, if that's not what your purpose is, what would you like this committee to do?
My purpose was to get people to hear my side of the story. Nobody bothered to talk to me or any of the other residents
Okay.
that heard what happened.
So we had your
So I
complaint in
find it
writing.
prejudicial.
Okay, so your comments are on the record. You found it prejudicial. You don't want Charlie Doozy removed?
I don't know what should happen with Charlie.
Okay, so then there's really no further point to this conversation. That's all we can do. So you've had your say. And that's really it. Okay, I'm moving on. There's nothing under informational items. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting from May 25th, 2022?
So moved.
Second.
Any edits, comments?
None here.
All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Old business, okay. So the only item under old business is continued discussion regarding Public Act 21-1, legalization of cannabis, marijuana, retail stores, and micro-cultivator. Information sheet titled Facts to Know Regarding the Retail Sale of Adult Use of Cannabis. Again, I don't have my laptop, and so the attachments are, yes, please. So, so there are two things that we need to consider. One is moving the fact sheet. Thank you, Naomi. One is moving the fact sheet, which we can do, and the other is approving the language for the ballot question. So if you open the agenda action item, is this a double tap, Naomi? Oh, it's a click. Okay.
You already voted on the question, so it's just the fact sheet.
We did vote on the question. Okay, I was going to ask you about that because
Yeah, we did
Okay.
vote on the
we
question.
did vote on it. We didn't just discuss it. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, so the fact sheet, the only recommendation I have is to add a couple of things. At the bottom of the fact sheet, it says for further,
Information.
yeah, for further information at the very bottom. I would actually add to that just a couple of the things that are attached in the agenda, including the Legalight presentation and also the CCM article on cannabis, which features two opinions for and against. It features an economic development perspective and it features the public health concern perspective. So
The only thing I would say is this is to be printed in the events magazine,
mhm,
and typically we're limited to 200 words. So we're gonna be way
Could
over.
we do some kind of an op-ed piece?
I guess we could, but I'm just saying, so
Yeah.
we're gonna be way over with that. So if we could just reference or say that those documents will be available online,
Yes.
that might be better.
yeah, I wouldn't include the text of those entire
Okay,
documents. Yeah,
okay.
just, so
The
we have for further reading, right? The link is there for further reading with CGA
Okay.
number. And so then also the Legalight link and the CCM link.
Okay. Available online, and we'll put the link.
Yeah, because the link that's on there takes you to some, it takes you to the actual legal language, which quite frankly is painful to read.
It is.
It's
Right.
there.
It is there.
I thought the CCM article in a nutshell presented the for and against. You know,
Well, we could do that in a newspaper. That may
Yeah.
get in.
Mhm.
In
I
the
mean, if you
day.
guys want to spend money too, we could do just a mailing, you know, of a fact sheet type thing.
I think putting it in the events magazine is the best way to do.
I mean, in addition to that, we could do a mailing with this other information.
There's always going to be somebody who will say, I didn't know.
I didn't, right, and if we
And then, but
set
if
that
we-
precedent, our expenses are gonna go
Yeah.
through the roof. I can't. I don't think
Okay.
think we can mail stuff out to every household.
We could certainly send some information to the day to see if they want to print it, but I wouldn't expend money on it.
Right.
We've got.
And we're not the
postage,
only
it's plenty.
municipality that's working on this, so I'm comfortable with the fact sheet. Are there any other, and is there anything else you'd like to add to it?
No, okay, so what, let's kind of make a date line. Okay, so fact sheet is gonna go with the next events.
Which is the end of August,
Yes,
Okay, so that's ready to go. Then what happens?
for it to be on the November ballot.
Well,
Yes,
We have to approve, the council has to approve the question. And then
when is that gonna be?
It can
we
be-
move it,
anytime between now and we need to, the drop dead date would be the first week of September, because per state statute, it needs to be approved and given to the town clerk so many days prior
Okay.
to the November election, and then she needs to send it to the Secretary of State's office,
Okay,
because it's not like a local election of just the budget. So, and the drop dead date is like September
then
7th.
why don't we do that in July? Get it, I mean, don't wait to the last hour
Yeah.
and then we're,
I was gonna check with Patty once you guys had your meeting
Yeah.
tonight, just to be sure if we vote on it a little earlier, is that okay? You know, I don't know if it's a special window, but it says at least 60
yeah,
days
let's
prior
do
to.
it so we don't
Yep.
get caught.
yeah, but the 60 days is for the petition, I think.
No, state statute.
Okay, that's all right, we can move it.
Yeah, I would just
I have no
assume-
interest in holding it up.
That's right. Okay, so, all right, so we get it on the ballot. And if the town votes it down, do we need to do anything? Does the town need to do anything? Like, do we need to come up with an ordinance? Do we need to have zoning take a stand? What happens?
That's a good question. I
if
don't know.
What happens if the town votes yes? And then people may want to know that too. And what happens if the town votes no? What happens?
Mhm. I believe it would be for zoning to handle.
Why don't we get the town attorney to answer those questions? So this is going on the ballot, what happens?
I think according to Mike France, what he said was if people vote no, then the council can do an ordinance banning it, and zoning can also ban it through zoning.
Do we
regulations.
have to do anything if the town votes it down?
Yeah.
Do we have to do anything?
Okay, that's the question. Okay.
Right.
Right here, it says state statute 9-3-70, submission of questions at elections. No local question approved for submission to the electors of the municipality within 60 days prior to elections. So, and then up here it says, the question may be approved for such submission within a period of 45 days prior to an election, and the action to submit the question in such period to the clerk of the municipality, who shall file a statement required by subsection with the Secretary of State immediately upon taking such action. So if we back up the clock, 60 days puts us at like September 7th.
Okay.
And that's right here.
Mhm.
So as long as we're before September 7th,
Yeah,
there's really no upper bound on that. You
right.
know,
Mhm.
we could do it a year in advance if we wanted to.
Mhm.
Yes. So if it's within the 60-day period, then it can't get on there. It needs to be prior to the 60
Okay,
days.
Counselor Soms.
It sounds like a long time away.
Yeah.
One more meeting in June, one in July, one in August.
Right.
That's three.
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
no.
time has a way of getting away from us.
So land use approved the ballot question. We
Yes.
approved the ballot question. Where is it going to the council next?
Yeah.
Okay, and so tonight we're just deciding to pass this fact sheet along, and this is
Right.
also going to finance next to look at it.
I don't know if finance really needs to look at the fact sheet. The reason it was going to the finance committee per Chairman Dombrowski was because, and it's almost really premature, I think, because if it's voted down, there's nothing for finance to do. If it's voted up, then per state statute, sort of like the bottle bill that we just did, we have to, probably set up a special account, and then the money can only be used for specific things like education, cleaning up the area if it's a depressed area, maybe putting in traffic lights or something like that. So it needs to be the money that we will get, because per this public act, there'll be a 6% tax that goes to the state and another 3.2 or 3.4% tax on top of that, that's gonna come directly to the
We need to
town.
get somebody to do it too. As somebody who's willing to put up $1 million to open up a
Right,
store.
I don't think we need to encourage anybody to do anything. They
Oh,
can do
right,
it.
right. But
Right.
the questions will come up. That's
Yeah.
all.
right, right. But I mean, if it's a yes, if they say yes at the referendum, then finance would need to, even if there is nobody that wants to put one up, we would want to set up
Oh,
an
yeah.
account
Yeah, just in
just
case.
in case.
Put the framework in place for future
Yes,
use.
sure.
Right,
sure.
right. So that when those monies come in from the state, they will go to that account, just like the surcharge money's going into the account, and that can only be used for certain things. And this money could be used for like education against abuse, substance abuse, cleaning up areas, making it better. And there's a whole list of things, but it can't be just used, like, we can't just put it in the general fund and use it for whatever we
Right.
want. So that's where finance comes in. So I don't even know, we have it there because Councilor Chairman Dombrowski asked us
Okay.
to put it on, but
So I do have a concern speaking for finance,
Yeah.
and that is this gonna cost the town money or not? Because the tax revenue has to go to specific things that we wouldn't be doing
right,
if we didn't have the store.
right.
So does it, in the end, cost us money, and what's it do to other businesses where that store ends up?
Mhm,
What's it do to that
mhm,
community?
mhm.
So
Well, if the vote is yes, could not zoning at that point designate
Yes.
an area for this
Right.
store to be? And it can only be one store. We can only have one.
Yeah.
Right now.
So
Yeah, per
It
our,
may open up later.
No.
No,
per our
no,
population,
we only get one.
the guidelines only would, per our population, we could have one.
Unless the state were to change the rules. in the
Unless-
future.
Oh, well, yeah,
Yes, unless the state was to change the rules.
right. But
and
for
I'm
now,
not saying we will or won't make money, I'm just saying that's the interest of all of us,
Right,
to protect the taxpayers' interests. Is this gonna cost?
right.
And I don't know the answer.
As Mary said, though, if it's passed, then zoning would have to write regulations as to where these could be.
okay.
So
yeah.
for instance, a package store cannot be within so many feet of a school or a church. So it would be something along that line,
Right.
so zoning would probably be involved either way.
Now,
It's a
this,
no.
the town of Brooklyn that said, we are in favor of one of these, they already have a medical marijuana facility. So that it's no big deal to accept recreational marijuana too. But we don't have such a, such a facility.
So the question is, we might want to ask Chairman Dombrowski, does the council actually want to vote on this informational sheet as a commit, as to, endorse it so that when we put it in, there's no surprises. We all are in agreement that this is the information we want to put out to the public. So if, you might want to turn that into a motion to say, motion to recommend the council
Yeah, absolutely.
endorse this fact sheet to
Facts
be
to- regarding
included
the,
in the August
Right.
events magazine.
Yeah, it
publication.
definitely needs to be discussed at the full council, and the conversation needs to be generated publicly, like now.
Right,
So,
definitely.
so back to the question of, is there anything else we want in the fact sheet, right? It's essentially a synopsis.
Right, we don't want
Of
to
the
put too
public.
much in because it'll hit the circular file, people
Right,
aren't gonna
so
read
I
it,
think
so.
it's a synopsis of the law, and if we put in the pros and the cons, simple,
Mhm.
legislates public health concerns, and then the CCM is 2 opinions, for and against. Simple enough.
So land use did look over the question and put forward the question that you have and that you voted on at your last meeting, but we also looked at the fact sheet and we agreed with the fact sheet, thought it was very good. But hearing your additional comments about the links, I think that's a great idea. If for any reason we can ask the Ledger Events magazine, if we can have extra space and make another area shorter, just to get those 2 links in or 3 links. in.
Yeah, well, I think they're gonna give us extra space because of what we're doing, you know, where they're gonna put it in, but I'm just
Yeah,
saying, normally our articles are only, so this is gonna be definitely an exception.
Even if we could use, you know, they have a whole page for the town council. Even if we could use that, you know.
Well, that's what we're using,
Oh,
so.
So for the other towns going through this, would they consider just publishing the whole thing for all the towns that are going to be voting? I know some have already approved it. but most of the
Yeah,
others haven't voted.
I think Ledyard needs to have Ledyard's conversation. You know, like,
Well, I mean, in our article, in our space, we'd say, go look at page 6. You know, this is what we think.
oh,
And go look at page 6, there's the full story. And do that for whatever other towns are also considering.
Although,
you mean under, for further information?
Yeah.
Sure, linking anything that's gonna be helpful. I guess I just feel like linking those few things, like linking to immediately to the CGA, whatever the number is.
No. I'm saying, put this fact sheet in Connecticut or Ledyard events.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's Ledyard. Sorry, never mind. No. I'm sorry. Here's what I was thinking. There are multiple issues going out to multiple towns. And if the towns that have a vote coming up all have this page in it, would they consider
Oh.
publishing it all at once for those towns?
So you mean just send, what we're gonna put in our events magazine, send it to Groton, see if
Yeah.
Groton wants to put it in their events magazine too, because it's not Ledyard specific.
mm,
Sure, we could do that.
We could ask.
See, sure.
Yeah, we could ask the mayor, you know, what he thinks about doing that.
Do you see a benefit to Ledyard for doing that, or you just mean as like a public service
Courtesy.
announcement?
Public service, because they had a page 1 or 2 issues back, which as far as I was concerned, was about nothing that's of interest to anybody here. It was about, well, it was interesting, but it was about some doctor in California.
Yeah, you know what, I mentioned that to the mayor one time, and I was like, why did they get this whole page for this? And they put that in Events Magazine does that as
Like public
their
interest
thing,
stuff.
yeah.
oh, I see.
So-
That's what I'm thinking, we put it as a public interest.
So we have no control over some of that stuff.
Yeah, because I was like, you know, how come we only get 200 words? These people have nothing to do with us, and it's a whole page. How come they're getting this?
Yeah,
you
there
know?
was a woman in
Yeah.
there this month, Joan something or other, she's a sportswoman of the year or.
Yeah, but I
you
can
know.
tell you, because I live in East Lyme, I look at ours here, and I look at the ones we get at home, at my home, and it has that same article in there.
Oh, okay.
So it's something that Events Magazine puts in as like something of interest.
Well, don't we pay per page?
We don't pay for that page, and there are
Okay,
advertisements.
I hope not.
Cover the cost.
Yeah, the advertisements is what pays for it.
Yeah.
And, you know. So,
Okay, so are we ready to, I can make a motion.
Go ahead.
I make a motion that we recommend the council approve the information sheet titled Facts to Know Regarding the Retail Sale of Adult Use Cannabis for the Events Magazine for publishing in the August Events Magazine.
Second,
Friendly amendment to the motion.
Sure.
Forward the motion for the council's consideration.
Yes, I mean,
well, if we motion to
recommending,
recommend the
if we
town
motion
council-
that they recommend,
yeah,
then they'll discuss and
Yeah.
reject if they care to. What was your friendly amendment?
You said, you stated the amendment was to have the council approve.
Oh, recommend, sorry, yes.
We're forwarding it to the council for
Right,
consideration.
okay, yes, so I accept the amendment.
So what's it say? Motion
It's
to.
so discombobulated.
Motion to forward to the town council for consideration?
The facts sheet
Yeah.
for referendum.
and approval. We don't want them to sit on it. We want them to read it and say, we approve.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, so it's gonna be motion to forward the fact sheet to the town council for consideration,
And
to be,
voting.
to
And
be
approval.
published. For consideration and approval. To be published in the August Events Magazine in preparation for the November 4th, 2022 election referendum.
Sounds brilliant.
Okay, I think it's, okay, I got it. Whew. And that was Counselor Ingalls
Mhm.
and Counselor Irwin.
Counselor McGrattan
Oh,
seconded
oh.
friendly amendment from Counselor Irwin.
Okay. Okay, so if it's just a friendly amendment, then it's just a friendly.
Okay.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye, opposed, none. Motion carries. Any other old business to come before the committee? None. New business? None. This meeting is adjourned without exception.
What time is it?
6 o'clock.
Ooh,
Okay, let me start.
all right.
Oh, it's-
Do I hit
Stop.
leave meeting?
That date you wrote is on not November 4th, it's November 8th.
November 8th, okay.
Stop. Okay, hit stop. I hit leave meeting.